this one. Hello, this is Notaspringchick, and if you are pulling your hair out, fortunately I still have hair. And we've got, who else do we have with us? Come on.
Pulling your hair out?
No, old Cam.
Oh, I'm old Cam? No, I don't generally get involved in these pieces. So I never tell people I'm here until the end, remember?
Oh, that is true.
She's wound up today.
I know.
She's talking business, of which she does have a degree in, many degrees, and she's very unhappy with the way things are being done in this country.
Oh, well, you know, part of it is like, with everybody, times are just a little bit tougher. And this topic is one of those topics you're going to think, that sounds kind of ridiculous. But after I've shared it with people...
But it can happen to you. Like we tell people, she's been in business for almost all of her life. Her family ran a business. She's got graduate work in business. She's interned in Washington D.C. She's done a European study in business. So she does have a good idea of how business used to be done.
I know. And this one's going to sound crazy, but it's about how to make payments. And
oh,
I know, it sounds so ridiculous, but...
It's not ridiculous. Remember, we have a credit card company that we have no access to of what the bill is or how much we're paying until we pay it.
Oh, you know what? That's actually true.
Because you can't, once you do online, you can't get back to the paper side, and if anything happens on the online side and you can't get into the online side,
you're screwed.
You're screwed. That's what we are.
And you're wondering, what in the world are you talking about? You know when you get your credit cards or you get some of those statements and they say, do you want to be green and have your statement sent online?
Well, no, we were green and the company changed my password. And since my credit cards are, I used to work for a very large, renowned company, and my credit cards were from them, and they filled the thing out. I have no clue of what they filled out on me, so I can't answer the questions.
Which means part of it is we can only do it via telephone. You can't check it online.
No.
Yeah.
And
even though you have online bill paying.
That's
right. Can't check it online and you get no statement in the mail.
And you have to use the same telephone number all the time, because if it shows up as something else, then you go play 20 questions again.
I know. Does that sound totally ridiculous? Well,
oh yeah. What? But no, this is the modern era. You try to be responsible and be green, and then find out that's a stupid thing to do with the credit card company.
Well, so part of it is I always like to get my statements in the mail because first of all, I like to be able to check it online, and I like to get my statements in the mail. Because part of being green is not printing. And I figured I'd rather let them print it than for me. But also, in your statements, you get things that you do not get online. Because they tell you about promotions, things that are changing. Remember those changes in terms or conditions that they're supposed to send you?
That I can get online. I just can't get access to them.
You see? But those come in the statement. Sometimes they send them separately and you have to read them. But I know some of you may not want to exactly open up your mail because you don't want to see what it says.
I know, I hate that. Actually, I'll be honest, I don't use my credit cards because I have no access to what's being put on them, so I don't use them. Which basically screws them. So they're not getting anything put on the cards because I can't get access to what I'm spending, so if I don't spend anything on them. But they're great credit cards.
They're credit cards. So if you're curious, why are payments important? Well, if you don't pay your bills, you do not have the services.
That's right.
You don't have your credit card, it screws up your credit. You may not have electricity, cell phones, things like that.
Well, because a lot of people, I used to, before they did things, I had everything. I had had telephone, I had power, I had water, I had the satellite service, all was paid for automatically off my credit card.
Oh.
But when I ceased to be able to see what I was actually being paying and charging, I stopped all that service, except for online.
So your choices, of course, of payment are paying it online, via a check, or going in to make a payment.
Yep.
The choice you choose depends on the service provider and how easy it is to access it. And it also may be dependent upon your cash flow.
Yeah, but
and sometimes they may charge you for payments.
I can also guarantee that my credit cards, it is an ungodly, unbelievable effort to try to find a place that you can pay the cards on.
Well, that's part of of it is if you can't find a place to make a payment, you either have to do it online or send in a check.
Yeah.
Now, when you send in a check payment, we'll
Yeah,
start.
but remember, I can't send in a check payment for what reason?
What?
I don't know how much I'm paying.
No.
See, because I have no idea of what the bill is every month until they tell me over the telephone.
I know, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's see. Should we start when you take it in? Oh, actually, we'll do it via telephone and online. Okay, if you're going to pay, excuse me, not via telephone, mail in a check.
Yeah.
Okay, when you mail in a check, they tell you to mail it in a week prior to make certain it gets there.
You better, with our post office, make certain it's 2 weeks before now.
Okay.
Because it takes a... I sent... actually, I got a parking ticket. I sent it in... The place is down the street from us.
Uh-huh.
It's right down the street. I mean, you could go right...
You can walk over there.
You can walk over there. They never got it.
See, so sometimes, if a place is close, it might be worthwhile
to walk over and give it to
down there, give it to them, and get a receipt.
But I can also tell you a nightmare with Regis Philbin. Regis Philbin works in New York in the post office building.
What happened?
He took and mailed a check to make a payment. He went out the door, paid the, put the check in the mail there. It's going to the same building.
Right.
It took 2 weeks. It never left the building and took 2 weeks.
Because they take all the mail, they took it to the central place,
Yep.
and it comes back out and goes to the place.
Yeah.
So, and the other part about checks is, when the checks go all into the credit card company, they go into an area, then they got to go to the area, take them all out, you've got to register them and count them for your account.
And they don't like to have people wasting time opening up envelopes.
So that doesn't mean that they do it every single day, nor does right? Because see,
it's an unnecessary expense just to to do that.
Take the payments, yeah. So when you think that it might be there, sometimes they sit on them because if your payment is late, you get a late fee charged.
That's right.
Which could be $35, $39.
And they don't stamp the things until they actually open them.
That's right. Which means your check could be there prior to when it's due, but they don't count it. So, let's see, you could do other things. You can send it overnight mail.
And they don't like overnight mail.
Which gets expensive. However, when it gets there, you know when it got there.
Yeah, but you know when but if you send it overnight, they have a tendency at times to go into the circular file.
Ah.
They do not like people sending them overnight or express things.
I know, but part of it is you've got a date stamp. The other part which I've done, which the post office, you ready for this? One of the guys at the post office told me, the only certain way that you have is to have them sign for it, which they don't like.
They get even more angry at that.
But you get a receipt back.
And then they find a way to jack up your costs for you for making them do that.
So that is a way you can be certain of it getting done. I've done that one. It works. But an easy way to do it is online. And by online, it's really easy. You set it up, it comes out of your account. But you have to remember, because each account is different. Sometimes when you do it, it may take, it should be posted within a couple days after you make the payment.
Yep.
Well, if you don't know exactly what date, you're kind of in the same boat. Some of them you can ask for a specific date for it to post, and that'll work.
Yeah.
Other ones, it'll tell you have to post it by a certain time. For example, it may be 1 p.m. East Coast time.
Yeah.
On a specific day.
Yeah, and we've said in another piece, remember, they don't count Fridays.
Yep. And holidays are excluded. So if you forget the payment's due on Sunday, that means your payment probably should have been in on Thursday.
That's right. And before 1 o'clock.
Yep. Oh, does this sound complicated? The easiest thing of always is to get the payment in early, but sometimes we know that it's not possible. So another thing besides that, for example, if you've got a bank, you can take the payment into them.
I can let you go.
Bye.